Hey, so I want to talk to you about 3 books concerning health, and the reason I want to talk to you about them is because I did do some video earlier on this channel, but unfortunately TikTok didn't pass it on. And because I've been doing videos on, antidepressant and psychiatric abuse and, the drugging of people, there's been a lot of comments on, well, what do you do for health? Who do you go to? GPs are incompetent. It's a challenge. It's a real challenge. But what I'm trying to communicate is you'll be amazed at how much was actually truly known about health over 100 years ago. It's amazing how in 2-3 generations, big pharma and vested interest have managed to change the textbooks, to invest, I guess, so much money in propaganda to change people's minds and to make them believe that, you've got to eat this stuff, this, that, and the other, and totally forget what to eat. So the reason I want to share this also is I'm 50, and besides pain relief in labor and dentistry, in my entire life, I've only ever had 1 paracetamol. It's true. I live in England. I don't live on a farm. I don't grow my own food. I can't afford organic food necessarily, but I've only had 1 paracetamol, and I think about antibiotics like 4 or 5 times. So the way I've kept myself well, despite everything that's going on, is I've always kept to this book. Adele Davis, Let's Get Well. She has a couple of other books. This lady was well ahead of her time in the 50s and 60s. She was a pioneering nutritionist in the US. If she were alive today, I'm convinced she would be thoroughly attacked and discredited by Big Pharma. But listen, you can go online, particularly if you're in the UK, go online and you can get a copy of this book for £4 or £5, literally cheaper than a Costa coffee. And it is fabulous. It is truly fabulous. And you have a very thorough index at the back. I mean, this is what you would call proper scientific. The index in the back is so thorough, you can pretty much find every difficulty that you have. And the solutions are incredibly simple. And because it is simple. That's the simplicity of it. It is being made very convoluted and complicated to make people ill. So, for less than a £5, you can get this. I've used it all my life. I don't use anything else. I just go straight to that, and it goes back down to the basic vitamins, and particularly the use of magnesium. And just as a point, I've taken magnesium every single day of my life since I'm about 14 years old. And there are so many studies on the subject of magnesium going back well into the 20s and 30s, 1920s and 30s. It is really well known. How is it that so many people do not take it or do not understand what it is? Again, that's probably an effect of Big Pharma to make people ill. So this is the first one you can get. Second one, which I mentioned in the video, it's this. So it's Prescription from Nutritional Healing by a lady called Phyllis A. Balch. Now, this is a 3rd edition. I think it's up to the 6th edition now, but the 3rd edition and the 4th, you can get it for £5. Literally, I mean, it's a massive book. It's got almost 800 pages. And again, same thing, massive index at the back. You can pretty much find everything you need to find. Any problem, any physical problem, from cancer to MS to problems with reproduction, anything. And the solutions and the descriptions are fantastic. And you can find everything that's in there. This one's more simple, as in it goes back down to the basic vitamins, except that nowadays, another challenge that we have is we have to then go and find the vitamins that have been manufactured properly, not the one in the supermarkets. Don't go to Sainsbury's or Tesco's and get the vitamins. It's rubbish. It's propaganda. It's just branding. It's not good quality. It's got binders. It's got all sorts of other stuff. But there are very good and very honest manufacturers of vitamins in the UK, in the US, in Europe. So you can very easily do research on that and get the good quality stuff. And it's not expensive. So this you can get also for about £5. And then the other one, which I've got, because the man was thoroughly attacked, American chap, he is called, I forget his name, Jeff Tebow here. A specialist in vitamin D. Now, his books have been translated in many languages, but you don't see them so readily in English-speaking countries. Obvious reasons. He explains the history of vitamin D and the research in the United States back in the 1900s, early 1900s, 1910s, 1920s. In the US, it was completely known, well known and understood that you would take large amounts of vitamin D and people were not ill. And it gives the whole history of what happened in the US with Big Pharma to completely change this and tell people how, you know, they can only take 400 IU and, you know, all this kind of stuff, which is a very small amount. But there's a lot more in it. Very, very thoroughly researched. The only thing with that book, it's self-published. And unfortunately, the copy editing is not brilliant. So I'm a bit of a stickler for that. But you know what? The data is so good that I look past it. Normally, I wouldn't look past it. But, you know, the man's done it himself because obviously of being so attacked, and it could have done with a slightly better editing, but it's totally fine. The data is really, really good, and there are hundreds of references and case studies. So I would really consider that you look at getting that. I think it's available on Kindle. I know it's translated in at least 10 languages because I see it in German. I've seen it in French. I was looking through, you know, online, and it's available in many European languages. Really, really worth a read. And again, why is it worth a read? Even if you don't agree with everything in it, it's the fact that the data exists on so many things which has been hidden. And it has been hidden with the rise of psychiatry and psychology. And I know I bang on about that, but I'm hoping by the time, you know, in the next few months when I've done far more videos on the subject with all the fine details, you will be able to really examine this and go and look for yourself and really see the connection, because it all happened in a very, very short period of time. 1879, 1870, just around that time. And by 1920, I mean, you're looking at 40 years, you know, even less. And then, you know, with the Rockefeller in 1900 coming in and doing the funding, I mean, it's a lot that happened in a very short time. And what's amazing is how within 2 or 3 generations, people have totally forgotten. Like, how do you get 8 billion people? Well, okay, there were not 8 billion people in 1920. There were about 1 billion or 1.5 billion. But by 1950, there were 2 billion. But somehow now we're 8 billion, and and they managed to get an entire population of Earth to have forgotten something that was totally known just 100 years ago. So yeah, I know I bang on about it, but you know, do get those books. If you have anything with your health, if you want to do better and get out of the matrix, you know, just get those books and learn for yourself.